Hello, I'm Adrian Clarke, and today we're going to be attempting to predict the unpredictable, which is, of course, the Championship. Let's kick off with the second City derby, which takes place on Sunday. Birmingham against Aston Villa. And you have to go all the way back to 2005 for the last time the Blues beat Villa in the league at St Andrews in front of their own fans. Imo Heskey scored in that particular match. It was a good game last year, one apiece. Birmingham were quite unlucky not to win, but for me, they've regressed quite badly actually this year. Aston Villa, they're certainly a team on the up under Steve Bruce. Quite impressed with them. I know that they lost at Wolves recently. They've got a lot of experience, a lot of character, and I think they will control this match. They'll sit deep because they haven't got much pace at the back, but up top they've got Adoma, they've got Onoma, who's an impressive loanee from Spurs, and they've got Jonathan Kodjia. Now, if you believe in narratives, Kodjia will be the main man in this one because Steve Cotterill, the Birmingham boss, he was the man that brought him into English football in the first place when he was Bristol City gaffer, signing for just £2 million. Bristol later sold him to Villa for £11 million. I just wonder if Kodjia could be the difference here. I'm certainly confident in Aston Villa. So confident, in fact, that I'm backing them with the handicap of giving Birmingham City a 1-goal start. I think you can get 19-5 with BetSafe on that. Queen's Park Rangers against Wolves should be a really exciting affair. It's difficult to know what to make of QPR at the moment. On the face of it, they're having an absolute nightmare. They're winless in 7. They did draw 5 of those games. Were they unlucky not to win 3 or 4 of them, or have they just been scraping by? I guess we'll find out this weekend when the leaders rock up in West London. I expect both teams to line up with 3 at the back. Should mean plenty of width. QPR put 26 crosses per game into the box, which is the most of any team in the Championship. And they've got strikers that score goals, plenty to choose from. At the moment, Idrissa Silla is the man in possession of the shirt. He scored 2 in 2. Wolves are flying, we know that. But there were signs of sloppiness in their victory against Preston last weekend. Nuno Espirito Santo laid into his players after the game. And look, if they turn up in West London without the right attitude, they could come unstuck because Ian Holloway is a good motivator and he loves to upset the big-time Charlies. I think this is going to be an exciting game. And you know what? I'm going to go for a shock home win in this one. I'm going to tip QPR to win with over 2.5 goals in the match. That's 22-5 with BetSafe. Now, there is another derby taking place in the Championship this weekend at Hillsborough in Yorkshire, where Sheffield Wednesday entertain Barnsley. This is a huge game for the Owls boss, Carlos Carvalhal. They've lost 4 of their last 5 of Wednesday, and a lot of fans and a lot of former players have been calling for him to be sacked. Personally, I think that's harsh, given that he's taken them to the playoffs in the last couple of years, but they're not in great shape at the moment. But Yorkshire derbies are a speciality of Carvalhal's. He's featured, or managed rather, in 21, and he's only lost 4, and he's won 11 Yorkshire derbies. So maybe he's a specialist in this kind of situation. Barnsley have got a young, hungry side. They'll cause them problems, no doubt about that at times. Like Harvey Barnes, the 19-year-old winger, he's been capturing a lot of attention for Barnsley this season. But I just don't know if they've got what it takes to handle the Owls, who will be pumped up by Carvalhal ahead of this one. They desperately need the win, and for me, they are the better side. I'm going to go for a Wednesday 2-0 win at 13-2 with BetSafe, and I'm even going to go with a Wednesday half-time, full-time forecast and get that at 3-2. Next up, Sunderland against Bristol City. And believe it or not, this will be the first time these two clubs have met this century. And I think Bristol City go into it as hot favourites. They have a good record on the road so far this season. They did draw at Norwich. They drew at Wolves. They beat Ipswich recently and they're scoring goals. You've got Didu, you've got Taylor, you've got Bobby Reid up front. Lots and lots of options for Lee Johnson. They're an exciting young side that I think could stay in and around the playoff picture this season. As for Sunderland, look, they did okay last weekend. 3-3 draw at Brentford, but they're leaking too many goals. That's 13 they've let in now in their last 5 Championship games. And in front of their own fans, where they have not won since last December, that is going to be a problem. That is an incredible record, and it heaps pressure on them every time they enter the field on Weir side. And I just think Bristol City will show no respect. They'll get in amongst them, and I fancy them strongly to win this game. And I think they're a reasonable price with BetSafe too, Bristol City, and get them at 8-5. Let's complete our Championship previews with a look at Hull City against Nottingham Forest. Now, Hull City seem to have settled down now. At the start of Leonard Slutsky's regime, it was you attack, we attack. It was all a little bit madcap. They've had some good results of late. They went to Norwich and drew. They've beaten Birmingham City. They've beaten Barnsley. They look to me as if they're a team on the up. And they're excellent on home turf, aren't they? They're the great entertainers. They've scored 18 goals at the KCOM Stadium. That's more than any other Championship side has managed in front of their own fans. And up against Nottingham Forest, a team that are just ahead of them actually in the Championship table, that could be bad news because Forest are a little bit leaky on the road. They've shipped 2 goals per game away from the City ground. I like them under Mark Warburton. They've improved, I think, and Barry Mackay is a terrific acquisition, top quality young midfielder he is. But look, I've got to fancy Hull City here. They're strong in front of their own fans. I'm looking at a 3-1 here, which you can get at 12-1 with BetSafe. And another cheeky little bet you might want to consider is for the second half to have the most goals. That's even money with BetSafe. And I say that because Nottingham Forest are very leaky late on in games. They conceded an awful lot of goals. Only 2 Championship teams have conceded more after half-time than Forest.